So Patrick, if there were to be one thing that you would put on the top of your wish list that we should do when we get back into government, what would it be?
I mean, I think for me the key is about listening to where people are at, and I think that I took myself off to Trenchtown in Jamaica, murder capital of the world. I interviewed gang leaders, and I interviewed a guy called Prodigal. He used to be a gang leader of a gang called the Fatherless Crew. Notice the title, the Fatherless Crew. 11 of them. They had 25 guns between them, and he said to me, you know, and I unpacked the issues of him. I listened to as he talked about teenage fathers. I listened as he talked about lack of education, lack of hope, lack of aspirations. I listened to him as he talked about lack of money, and that's why they often have to go out and commit crime and stuff. And I said to him, what's the one key thing that got you out of the gang? Because now he's out of it. And he said, I found someone I could aspire to be like. I found someone I can aspire to be like. And my key thing is, you know what, there are a lot of grassroots organisations across the UK slogging their guts out week after week after week. You need to listen to those guys. They're the guys on the ground who know what they're talking about. And it's got to be grassroots up, not top down. If it comes from the grassroots up, I believe we can see community transformation in our cities in this country.
I guess that brings us very much to the work you're doing. To what degree does a really challenging time for children in early life contribute to them ending up in the kind of world you're dealing with?
Well, I think it's crucial, and I think one of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of government funding has been put into NEET children, not in education, employment or training, which is important, but the key is for us is that we're dealing with 11 to 14-year-olds who are deciding key choices now. They're deciding whether to pick up the gun, whether to pick up the knife. You see, every person, I believe, and especially young people, need three things: a sense of belonging, a sense of value, and an ability to cope with life. The thing is, that sense of belonging, because dad's not at home, family is complex, is coming from the gang, so the gang becomes your family. And what happens is you do negative things because you feel affirmed by the crowd around you. I had a kid come up to me, he was 14, he was wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his school uniform. We wrote this show called Gunz Down that deals with the whole issue around guns and knives, and he said to me, my cousin's been shot dead, my brother is in hospital and I'm a dead man walking, I'll be dead by Monday. And you see, he's angry, and actually a lot of these guys, they're not criminals. Some of the young people that we're dealing with, they're not criminals, they're articulate, clever young people, but actually they need help in dealing with some of their anger and some of their emotions inside.
How widespread is the challenge of a gang culture in our cities now?
Well, I think it's spreading, and my fear is if we don't act now with the younger guys, is actually in 2 years' time is we're going to have bigger issues. And I believe that what we need to do is actually try and bring families together. That's the key. You know, one of the things that we do in XLP is we run an event called Art Showcase. We go into all the schools and we help kids with their singing, their music and their dance and their drama and poetry. And this isn't just X Factor, sing a song and suddenly get famous and everything's great. This is articulate what you're going through in your life for us. And there was this one guy, and David, he played the congos and he couldn't afford them. We got him some from the local church. He lived on the Aylesbury estate where Tony Blair, when he first got elected, he went to the Aylesbury estate and did his first speeches. He lived in a 2-bedroom masonette. There was about 6 or 7 of them there. And what happens is we take the best couple from each school in this art showcase. We hire a theatre. The theatre is packed with aunts, cousins, family members. This kid, he played the congos. He played it with such passion and enthusiasm. And at the end, he came third in his show. His dad was staring at the stage and he had tears in his eyes. And I went up to him and I said, "Sir, are you okay?" And he said to me, "You know what? I had no idea my son could ever do anything as fantastic as that." You see, for that dad, he's sitting there feeling feelings of pride he hasn't felt for years. And he's been told how bad his son is, how negative his son is. Come into school, he's in trouble again. And we did a similar thing a couple of months after that. He didn't just bring 6 members of his family, he brought 25 members of his family. And in fact, at the end of the show, the son came up to me and said, "My dad wants to know if he can sing now as well." And so we need to create opportunities to bring families back together. It's crucial.
And Debbie, one of the great challenges